Another crisp winter day, and Arthur Gunn is keeping his buns warm the same way his family has for 75 years.
I've been coming to work here every day of my working life, and we feel that Selkirk Avenue is a great place.
Of course, things have changed in the decades since Arthur's parents opened up shop. As others closed, so did the banks. 10 branches since the mid-90s.
If you look at all the places that used to be banks and that are now pawn shops, doctor's offices perhaps, whatever. I mean, it was out and out abandoned.
If you see the banks vacating a particular area, it's usually because they're not necessarily not making money, they're just not making as much money as what they believe they can do if they take those resources and move to a different community.
Enter Al Moran and a lesson on credit unions versus banks. While both are in the business of making money, co-ops like the Assiniboine Credit Union are motivated by more than profit. And that's why this branch is moving in.
When the bank started to vacate the north end, certainly some of the community leaders started to become very concerned, because I think they recognize that you need financial institutions within your community. I mean, that's an economic engine within a community. So if you start losing that, then certainly it's a trend, I think, that's pretty devastating in the long run.
Instant cash stores filled the void. That's when even cashing a check in the north end would cost you.
You know, when you look at somebody that's only got $500 or $600 a month coming in, and they're paying 10% of that in order to turn that check into cash, that's an enormous amount of money.
We were looking at ways to respond to the fact that the banks in North America were raking in billions of dollars of profits, and people in the North End were struggling just to make ends meet.
Community organizations stepped in to create alternatives, but there were challenges for the social conscience.
Some of the conversations we had around trying to open some kind of a financial institution, right? Because we didn't want to charge interest. We wanted to give interest-free loans, and then they'd bring us back to reality and say, well, how are you going to pay your staff?
Before these tools were brought out, an alternative financial services coalition was born, building up the community with financial literacy and grant matching programs, but it wasn't enough.
We were putting in kind of alternative options to a traditional financial institution, but never lost our dream for having like a real credit union or bank that we would be a part of.
Many will be part of it. The new credit union did its homework, and it's off to a pretty positive start.
Our target was $6 million. We ended up getting $18 million of commitments from people that said, yes, if you open a branch, we'll be there. So, you know, that speaks to the welcoming of the community and the need, really, you know.
Financial services will make it possible for new and old business to grow in the North End. And despite the rise and fall, Arthur says they'd do it all again.
This is our home, you know. You can still walk down the street and you can see somebody that's been living there for a long time. You know, an old neighbor, they still say hi to you. It's been wonderful here, absolutely.
For Shaw TV, I'm Kim Kasher.